So, right. 24689. Please get this in. Hi.
What I'm not gonna do it on there, it's not working. Morning, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Kukla, I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals. We're running a little bit late, we're waiting on the chairwoman this morning. Just give us a few minutes, thank you.
Hello, hi, good morning, Diane. How you doing?
Okay, who's this?
This is Joy.
Oh, hey, Joy, I see the number come up.
Yeah, well, this somebody, this is not my phone, so, I'm using it right now. My question is to you, because I called you, hope I wake you up. Did I?
Joy?
Joy, can you please mute yourself?
Oh, sorry.
Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna. All right. Always helps to be able to breathe. Everybody ready? Liz? Okay. Ready?
Just gotta turn the page.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Zoning Appeals. We will begin with Ms. Kukla reading the preamble. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals. I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning, this November 20th, 2023. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law in section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the city planning department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Would you like to call a roll, please?
Or Ms. Brown will be absent this morning.
Right.
I see Ms. Holzer,
Present.
Excellent.
Ms. Wilson,
Present.
Ms. Roca,
Present.
Ms. Bates.
I am here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum with 4 members. We should state for the record that with the 4 members this morning, the appellants run the risk of a tied vote. In that case, in the case of a tied vote, the variance is essentially denied and the decision of building and housing remains. So at this time, the appellants can request a postponement to allow time for us to have 5-member board.
Do we have any requests at this time? Okay, I don't see any. We'll move forward. Ms. Holzer, if you, we have Councilman Hairston with us this morning. So we'll begin with calendar number 23-143. And I think, would you like to do the oath this morning, Ms. Roca?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, Madam Chair, could we announce the withdrawal this morning?
We have a withdrawal. Yes, go ahead.
On the screen?
Calendar number 23-151 at 1598 East 93rd Street. BJB Enterprise LLC proposed to establish use as a residential facility for 5 occupants. The appellant has requested to withdraw this case. And there will be no testimony this morning to those who are on the call.
Okay, great. Anything else?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. So Ms. Holzer will go ahead with 23-143. And
Sounds
as
good.
always, we tell people that as a courtesy to the council people, when they are present with us, we move their case to the top of the agenda. So, all right.
All right. Good Good morning, everyone. Our first case is calendar number 23-143. This is at 18627 St. Clair Avenue. ARC Construction and Development LLC owner proposes to establish use as a carryout and cafe/lounge in a C2 local retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. This case was originally postponed from September 11th to October 7th or October 2nd due to a lack of quorum. No testimony was taken at that time. It was again postponed from October 2nd to November 20th at the request of the appellant and councilman to allow time for further review. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Roca for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I'm going to start with anyone on the phone. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply with I do. State your name and your address. Anyone on
Reginald,
the-
Germany.
Go ahead, sorry.
Reginald, Germany. The address is 18627 St. Clair. That's Cleveland 44110.
And then do you swear to tell the truth? You have to state that you do.
I do.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Anthony Harrison, City of Cleveland, 601 Lakeside. I do.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else on the call? Anyone in the room for this case today? All right. That's it, Madam Chair.
Okay. So it's Germany, is that the last
Yes.
name?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam
Madam
Chair.
Chair, we haven't had history or anything because this
Correct.
I just want to make sure you remember.
Yeah, we hadn't heard,
It was lack
So
of
I want to
quorum.
make sure that you remember this is one I had to recuse myself the last time it was on the agenda.
oh, that's correct. Okay, thanks for the reminder. Okay, Miss Wilson has to recuse herself. So that means we are down to 3 board members hearing your case, Mr. Germany, and you have to have a unanimous vote for that. So you do have the option to postpone it this time, or we can move forward.
We can move forward.
Okay, great. Okay, history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned semi-industry in 1929. 1988, it was changed to local retail business. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1898, a permit was issued to erect a store addition. 1909, a permit was issued to erect a kitchen addition. And in 1938, a permit was issued to demolish a dwelling and store building. There are no variances on file. And in the more recent history, we found that in 2016, a violation notice was issued to the property regarding illegal auto repair. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Did you say illegal auto repair?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe this is not the right. Yeah, looks like we don't have the right history here. I
Okay.
apologize, Madam Chair, this is a mistake. We have the wrong information.
Okay, do we have the right information,
Yeah,
Ms. Kukla?
This, thank you, sorry about that.
Sure,
It's
okay,
under St. Clair.
all right. It'll be just a moment while we gather the information for the history of this address. Maurice, who's doing legal today?
I don't see anybody
She's
from the
gonna be
law
late.
department online.
Who's gonna be late?
So Liz is gonna have to do legal until
Okay.
she gets here.
I am on the call. This is Ariel Washington, city planner.
You for this case, Ariel? Ariel?
Sorry, I was muted. I said Ward 10 is one of my wards, so yes, I'm here.
Okay, all right. We're gonna go ahead and swear you in then.
Okay, Ariel Washington, 601 Lakeside Avenue.
Okay, we're gonna do the oath first and then you can just repeat that.
Do you
Okay.
swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please state your name, say I do, and your address.
Ariel Washington, I do, 601 Lakeside Avenue.
Thank you.
We chords together.
You ready? Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry, Madam Chair, it's been listless. I don't have that information for you this morning.
Okay, well, we don't have, I understand that you're gonna have to read the legal.
Yes, I would gladly read it this morning. Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the parking requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, the appellant must prove that denying the request will, number one, create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Germany, if you would like to tell us what you're going to do and then give us your testimony with regard to the variance and the shortage of parking spaces, please.
Okay, I also own the next two buildings as well, so I have more parking, have plenty of parking to add to it. So I own the three buildings on the same side of the street, and we have the ones across the street for the parking. So
you
we're just
own the-
adding parking lot, excuse me,
You own what buildings across the street?
the one directly in front of it at Angled, the big,
Okay.
large building. I own the two next to the building, the coffee shop in also.
Okay,
18611, 18615. So all that parking, it's mine also that I'm redoing.
okay. All right, so give us an idea of the business that you're gonna have, the hours of operation, the number of staff you're gonna have.
Okay, the hours of operation are 6 in the morning to 6 in the evening. It's a coffee fusion. So, it's a new thing out now that they add liquor to coffee, different, they make different drinks out of it. And those are the operations to 6 in the evening.
Is that 7 days a week, sir?
That will be 7 days a week. Because I own the laundromat in the building, and it's 7 days a week, so they'll be able to get breakfast sandwiches, coffee,
All right, so you're serving food as well?
yes, just sandwiches, breakfast sandwiches.
Okay.
And donuts, of course.
Donuts, of course. Of course.
Yeah, that's my problem, the donuts.
Well, and then your next business that you're gonna open is a little gym then, right?
Yeah, I need that.
Okay, so talk to us about your parking space situation. You've got street parking out front probably,
Yes, ma'am.
and then you've got, I see the lot behind you. What's your capacity for that lot behind?
Yeah, I paved that lot and back it's, I think it's 40. I'm not sure now. I just put that lot in. That was all dirt and stuff. So I put that lot. I plan the two buildings next to it. I'm going to extend the lot all the way over to the next two buildings. I didn't own them at the time that I had done that parking lot, so I couldn't
Okay.
add them in.
Oh, thanks. We're just looking at your blueprint right now.
It's a
Yeah. Where are your ADA spaces, Mr. Germany?
There's one right on the side. No, you don't see it. I switched it right on the side of the building where
Those parallel spaces?
yes, and I ramped it up. The asphalt is ramped up.
Okay.
There's one also around the building.
All right.
I had one right on the corner, but it was blocking that turn.
Okay.
It says 30 spaces, but he only needs 28, so I'm confused.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Here, I'll read it.
We're doing a quick count.
Okay.
Well, I get 23, but I don't know. Something
Okay.
was,
All right, so your blueprints mark that you've got 30 spaces. We just did a count. So on the count, you've got 20 regular spaces and 3 ADA.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Somebody's written
I
19.
know, that's what I don't.
Yeah, somebody's written, you've been written up for 19. So we have a little
That's what's in
discrepancy.
here. That's what's in the agenda as well.
Okay.
So Madam Chair, it's 23 total? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's
20 regular and 3 handicap?
correct. That's what we're getting.
But it says 19 in the agenda. We're just checking the notice of nonconformance.
Give us just 1 second.
Okay.
Madam Chair, this could be a question for Mr. Riccardi while I'm looking for that. Does this, is there an issue because there are other, uses in the building? Because there are residential units. I do see a, calculation on the back, there are 16 spaces required for Rosie's, 14 plus 2 employees, then there are 4 residents. And Go Mode, 8 spaces, equal 6 plus 2 employees.
The residents are allowed to park at 18611. So I'm on.
So you're putting the residents across the street?
No, they're on the same side of the street.
Okay.
They just in the next buildings.
Do they live in this building within park next door?
No, that parking lot, excuse me, the building is right next door. It's the same parking lot, same driveway space.
Okay. Is Mr. Riccardi with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And,
Ms. Kukla? Okay, did you hear Ms. Kukla's question?
Yes, and I think the applicant has to talk about all the uses in the building since they are all on the parcel and the parking for the entire building. I think that's what the notice what the note was intended when the examiner made it.
Okay.
So if he could talk about those other accommodations, you can use other property that you do own as long as it is within 400 feet of your subject property. So if he's making up the parking on that other property, as you say, this amended plan shows some more spaces, But if it is 23, then it is still 5 spaces short.
No.
So perhaps he could talk about gaining those 5 spaces on other property that he owns.
Yes, well, on the drawing, I'm sorry, I'm just getting over a cold. But I'm about that the parking lot that you enter in back of the cafe and all is the exact same space. It's no difference. The next building is only about maybe 25 feet between the parking lots and the buildings, between both parking lots that exist, and they're attached. It's no different. They're attached in the front, they're attached in the rear. So, I mean, they're the same parking, and you still have about another 10 spaces.
So how many businesses are housed in this particular building?
You have the coffee shop, the laundromat, and a restaurant in that particular building.
Okay. Coffee shop. And Ms. Kukla, what did you come up with?
We did find, just to verify, we did find that the notice of non-conformance does state that the required spaces are 28, and then the proposed spaces are 19. But the calculations on the back are, I believe it says Rothy's is required to have 16 spaces. There are 4 spaces required for the residents, and then there'll be 8 spaces required for go mode, and that's where the number of 28 spaces comes from.
Okay, so, Mr. Germany, what business is Rosie's?
Rosie's is the restaurant.
Is the restaurant. Okay. And then Go Mode, is that the laundromat?
The cafe.
That's the cafe. All right. So with that, we came up with 28.
So I'm sorry.
Okay. So based on that calculation, we are correct that you need the 28 spaces with, that includes the residents that occupy the second floor. And our count was 20 plus 3.
Yeah, let me look up.
Well, I mean, all of that is originally
Those
one.
aren't marked, are they?
Marked on here, but they're not on.
They're
here.
not on there. 1 second.
Okay.
How many do we have on that sign?
2. Five, 6, can't tell if there's no other there.
Somebody made it 1.
2. Yeah, somebody made it 1. I don't know if that is actually 1. So it's 1, 2. 3, 4.
So you are counting from the aerial right now? Is that?
Well, we see stripes on an aerial that aren't in the plan. Yeah, I don't really know how many are here.
Right, it's been redid. I see you. Those are the old photos.
So we're looking, are we on Google Maps?
Yeah, August 2022.
Okay, so we're on Google Maps of August 2022.
Yeah, I see
And there's more spaces than what you have on your blueprint or would appear to be striped.
right.
Those, no,
Oh,
look
no,
at
you
that.
can see it. There's a car.
And now,
Yeah, the
now
parallel,
I'm heading to it. Now I'm
Yeah.
coming all the way. Now I'm coming all the way across as well.
yeah.
Then on Google's, you don't, it's not showing all the parking spaces against the building in the rear. It's parking both sides, in the middle, in the back, and in the,
Well, Madam Chair, we can only go by what was submitted to building and housing.
Right, exactly.
So, if the plan that you're looking at, it should have a stamp from building and housing in the
Yeah.
front or the back.
Yeah,
So if he's saying he has a new plan, that would need to be submitted to building and housing.
Right.
I put in steel poles against the building, and it's parking now against the rear of the building.
I think we need new plans. I mean,
Yeah.
I see the poles and everything, but
yeah. Mr. Germany, the blueprint that you submitted that was stamped by Building and Housing in July does not reflect what we're seeing on Google Maps or what we're seeing in the actual aerial that was taken by city planning for us. So,
the numbers are off.
the numbers are off.
Okay.
And it appears that perhaps in reality, you have more spaces than are on this current plan. Yeah. So, Councilman Hairston, we have city planning here. Do you want to have her speak before you make comment?
That's fine.
Okay, Ms. Washington, do you want to go ahead and make statement?
I spoke too soon earlier. I don't have a statement. I was signing in the meeting too early. No comment.
Okay, all right. Okay, so, Maurice, in lieu of that, do you have any?
What the councilman has to say.
Okay, Councilman Hairston, would you like to make your statement now?
Absolutely. Good morning, board. Good morning, Madam Chairwoman, to members of the board, staff. First and foremost, those donuts have gotten me in trouble as well. All right. I'm along with Mr. Germany on those donuts. Okay. And also, Mr. Germany, his wife, have been a great addition to our community. That corner has sat vacant for quite some time, back when it was the old club Nottingham, when I was a kid, up in Nottingham area. And had this husband and wife came along and in the term they could say buy the block, really bought the block, and has really worked to transform this corner here. They've been nothing but stellar owners here. These are the owners that I don't have to chase. They call me, hey, council, we got an issue. This is what's going on. What do we need to do? Or, hey, we have a question. We want to be in alignment. We want to be legit on anything that we are doing here. And so I've always appreciated them in their forthcoming, whatever is going on there on their property. As Mr. Germany indicated, he has the coffee shop, which is allowed by the current zoning. However, he wants to do carry out so that folks cannot, so they won't have to be limited to just coming in, buying, and sitting down. They can actually take their stuff and they can leave. The laundromat, as you said, is on the eastern side of the corner, which is consistently used, but not overly packed, where it has caused any sort of traffic burdens or parking burdens, right? Because I'm always in the neighborhood there. I have meetings here at the location, Mr. Germany's location, and firsthand see the way the parking situation is set up. I had no issues with these variance requests at all because of the amount of off-street parking. He also owns the building across the street, the building next door, which have parking spaces as well. There are three streets that actually come out into St. Clair, 187, 186, and Russell's. That's to the west of him, that he is able to use for off-street parking. The residents love Mr. Germany when he was open for his, dine in, not dine in, but kind of your sit in. They missed him when he went away due to staffing issues, COVID issues, and so forth. And so they are very much looking forward for him and his wife to reopen this establishment. Now, I will be honest with you that the fusion concept, I was not too thrilled about it first, because I didn't know much about it. Once I got to learn about it, how these other cities, these larger cities, are doing these new infusion cafe centers that he spoke about. I think that's something that can be a niche for our community there in Nottingham Villages. And so I'm absolutely enthusiastically in support of Mr. Germany and his wife for their variance request, and don't believe that it will create any unburdened issues on the community. In fact, it would be an enhancement to this issue to bring this establishment here, so it can operate and not only just a sit-in, but also a carry-out facility as well. All right. And
Excellent,
I'm
thank you,
sorry,
Councilman.
I'm driving because we have turkey giveaway today. You know how that goes.
All right, thank you.
Maurice Rollins, City Planning. Well, Madam Chair, after that glowing recommendation, I really don't have much else to say. I mean, it's a great old building, and I love the fact that it's being brought back to life instead of vacant. So that's fantastic. I have no issue with the parking either. If the councilman is happy with it, and having driven through that area many times, it does seem to be, abundance of off-street parking in the area. So I really don't think that's going to be an issue. Although I do think we need to get an accurate site plan
Absolutely,
before it can be ratified, just for legal reasons.
absolutely.
But otherwise, yeah, I recommend approval.
Okay, all right. Okay, so Mr. Germany, based on what we've looked at, our research here, it looks like you probably have more spaces than are reflected on this set of plans that we have. That you, again, as I said, that you submitted to Building and Housing back in July. Mr. Rulins from City Planning echoes, I think, our sentiment that you're probably closer to compliance than it appears, but we will need you to submit an updated site plan with accurate parking counts, thank you, for all the parking spaces. And in addition, would want you to include the placement of the dumpsters on the plan as well. And on the plan, you would need to mark which spaces are ADA. Okay, so that's your punch list. New set of plans reflecting the accurate parking spaces, the location of the dumpsters, and have the ADA spaces marked on the plan. Okay? So those would be conditions of the, and we would not ratify that till we have the plans in. So those would be conditions of the motion for whomever is crafting the motion on this. And if there's any further comment or questions?
One side note, you will be seeing Mr. Germany, I believe, in the next couple of weeks for another project that he's doing. If you look at the bottom right picture, the building on the left-hand side there, I believe he's proposing something in that building. So we'll be seeing him back again.
Okay, and that's the one, that's the one too, Mr. Germany, that you're planning on paving behind that other building as well?
Correct.
Okay, so do be sure that you are including the drainage on that. Because that's something we want to see on the plans as well.
Okay.
Okay, so you can have that prepared when you come see us again. All right?
Okay.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Madam Chair, I do have a question, I guess, based on what Mr. Riccardi said. Since that building next door is less than 400 feet from this building.
Correct.
Does he also need, in his due plans, does he also need to submit the count for that building if those parking spaces are to be included for these businesses?
Good question. Good question.
Then he may not even need a variance.
I don't know that he's gonna need a variance.
Right, right.
And Madam Chair, I do have a question. If the notice of nonconformance does not mention anything about the drainage, it may be fine with Building and Housing. I'm not sure that we may necessarily do that. And then the dumpsters as well, it wasn't noted on the notice of nonconformance, so they may be satisfied with it, but of course that's your project.
Well, I think typically with regard to the dumpsters, we usually have them put them on the plans just so we see them.
Got it.
Just as a point of information. So did you understand Ms. Roca's question, Mr. Germany?
Yes. Yes, I understand that. You know, when I got the plans done, me aggressively, I just keep working at things. So I
Yeah.
guess I ran away from the plans, so I will get on top of it.
Yeah, so, I think you might just wanna, I'm not sure who drew your plans, but, maybe have them do, a separate site plan page rather than having the site plan on the page with your floor plan.
Okay,
And
so
have them include that other parcel on there as well, since, you own that entire site.
Mhm. I definitely will. I'll get on it today.
And then that'll cover your, then we'll be able to see all the parking spaces as a whole.
And you
Okay.
might not even need a variance, you might just be able to get your permit because it looks to me like you probably have more parking than you need.
Right.
I will get
Okay.
on top of it.
Okay, all right, I'll entertain a motion then.
Madam Chair, I just have one more question. I have a note that the hours of operation for the new cafe were 7 days a week. I missed what the specific hours were, and I wasn't sure if we wanted to note that.
From
Yes.
6 a.m. to 6. It's 6 to 6, 12 hours,
7 days.
7 days, 7 days a week.
I'm sorry, I have another question just because now I'm confused. If we move forward with a vote and let's say his variance is granted, but when he submits new plans, he ultimately didn't even need a variance, what happens?
That's a good question. I think the variance would still remain part of the record of his
Okay.
parcel.
Should at some point down the road, he decide to split lots.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any harm in that.
I'm just thinking for the future life of the property,
Right.
it should be clear what is happening.
Then he would have to withdraw, or the board would have to dismiss the case. But I don't know if that's something that's that concerning, as Mr. Rowland stated that there's parking on the street and such.
Right.
Maybe Mr. Riccardi can help us here. I just want to understand. Mr. Riccardi, if we take a vote today and not saying I know how it'll end up, but let's just say that it's approved, this variance is approved, but will not be ratified until the new plan showing all the parking spaces that are available are submitted to Building and Housing. But then upon that submittal, it shows that he actually didn't need the variance, that he had more parking than he needed with respect to the code. Can you tell us what happens at Building and Housing at that time?
If such plans, such detailed plans and plans of uses of all the buildings and uses on all the lots that are going to be considered for parking, if those are submitted and examined and it's all found that the variance was not needed, then I think there could just be a total withdrawal of the entire case from BZA, and I think it would just be null. That I think that's what would happen. At this point, I think that it's more expeditious to proceed along as if the variance was needed.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Okay, anything else, board? All right, I'll entertain a motion then.
All right, I will do the best I can here. Madam Chair, I move that we approve calendar number 23-143 based on the testimony that we've heard today, that appellant plans to operate a coffee fusion shop in the building with the hours of operation from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., 7 days a week, and plans to offer food, and plans to operate parking in the back of the building of the subject property, as well as potential parking in a building that has been testified is less than 400 feet from the subject property. The board I condition this motion on the appellant submitting new plans with all of the parking, both at the subject property, which covers Rosie's, Go Mode Cafe, the residences above these places, plus the laundromat, also the building next door and the parking lot that exists for that building as well, to the board. And then also include the ADA parking as marked on those plans and the location of the dumpsters as well.
Thank you, Ms. Roca. Councilman Hairston has his hand up, is that correct?
Yes, I did. see that.
Okay, before we go to a vote, Councilman has his hand up, so did you have a comment, Councilman?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Just briefly, so two things. One, the hours of operation. I know that Mr. Germany stated they open at 6 to 6. That is the operation times that they were operating previously. But I do know at times that they stayed open later during certain periods of the year, like holiday times when folks are out shopping, right? When there's happenings, throughout the neighborhood. Before we've done like these walking strolls, right, where you stop into the different businesses in the area. We plan to do many more of those, which will probably extend past 6 p.m. in the evening. My only concern is that if we limit them to 6 p.m., that if they will miss out on an opportunity to participate in maybe future events or just capitalizing on folks who are in the neighborhood for holiday periods, or sometime you have like even around beginning of the year when there's an influx in dollars, people are at the pizza shop, they may come get coffee. The pizza shop they don't close until about 9-10 at night, right? So we have another coffee shop in Waterloo. They stay open until 8 o'clock at night, I believe. So 6 p.m. probably, I'm just concerned about limiting them to 6 p.m. when there could be potential opportunity to be open later to generate more revenues and support the community a little bit better during periods of time during the year.
Good point, Councilman. Sounds like you're looking for a 9 o'clock, an extension to 9 o'clock?
Well, I don't necessarily think that they, well, I guess we can we could put a time on it. I didn't personally feel, and you all, happy to hear your comments, where they need an end time at all.
Yeah, we typically include that. So let's
okay.
go to Mr. Germany and sir, having heard that statement from the councilman, it sounds like, particularly for special events or seasonal, you would want to have the ability to extend your hours to later. How late do you feel like you need to be able to stay open?
We do have, certain events up there. We haven't had baby showers up there, but me, I would feel, no later than 10 o'clock, then we have to get out of there. I don't really have anything there too late.
Okay. All right.
But
So
that would let the
Go ahead.
laundromat, because the laundromat doesn't close to 9 o'clock. So that would help a lot.
Okay.
Yes, that helps a lot.
Okay, so sounds like if we make an amendment and say, given special events or seasonal, you have the ability to stay open until 9 p.m.
I think he said 10 p.m. 10 p.m.
You want to do 10 p.m.?
Yes, I would do 10 p.m.
All right, 10 p.m. Is that, do you feel comfortable with that, Councilman?
Yes, 10 p.m. is fine, and I forgot the laundromat, they close at 9 as well. It's just while his other, like the laundromat is open and other things are open, it allows him to be open to catch folks as well, instead of limiting them to 6 p.m. So, regardless of a special event or seasonal, his other establishments stay open until at least 9, right?
Right.
And,
Right.
that allows him to stay open later, which is fine with me. 10 o'clock is fine. These are not
Okay.
problematic owners, so it doesn't concern me when that from them, and it says 9 or 10 o'clock because of the type
Right.
of owners they are. So no, I'm good with it. It was in my mind. I said I wanted to make sure I spoke about that. And then secondly, as relates to the other parking, I think, and this is just my thoughts, whether he submits his replans based on not the other buildings, because they'll operate whatever they operate in those buildings as well, that those don't be considered, that it just merely be based off the decision, be based off the off-street parking. I think that would be the best way. And the only reason I say that is because let's say the building to the west of him, maybe in the future, is no longer his building. What happens at that point? If we tie the variance to the fact that there's additional spaces at another building that he owns versus tying it to the ability to have off-street parking instead.
Right, right. Correct. All right, so, 1 second. So, how did you phrase that?
I
Remember?
phrased it that he would have to, the variance would be conditioned on him submitting new plans with all the parking spaces for this building and these businesses, plus the building and the businesses next door, if they're gonna be counted, because they're less than 400 feet from this building. And it sounds like he's coming back to us potentially for whatever he's putting in
Right.
that building. So I think the full count needs to be, we need a holistic picture of what is
Right,
happening here.
right.
Well, I don't mean to chime in. That's why I made the point that I did. So
Right.
if he, in fact, let's say he don't own the western building at some point, right? But we're including that now with the variance request. Is it cleaner to just, okay, let's not worry about the other buildings that he owns that potentially can be used for parking for this variance, that we just simply base it on the fact that the off-street parking is sufficient enough in the area to support the need for the 5 additional spaces based on what he has currently on the lot that's attached to this building only.
I mean, that's fine too. We still need an updated plan to show us how many parking spots. are on
Right,
this lot.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, we still need an updated plan, Councilman, because based on
Yes.
our count, he's closer to being in compliance than this plan reflects.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
So we can amend the motion, or somebody can,
right,
to change the hours to 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Regardless of time of year. And then also that the motion is conditioned on plans for the subject property in this agenda request be updated to reflect the actual number of parking spaces for Rosie's Go Mode, the tenant residences, and the laundromat.
right. So
I don't think I can make an amendment to my own motion.
okay, all right.
Maybe
And
I
lastly, that I have to hop off again, but I just wanted to tell you, after the first of the year, the new, Maurice, help me out. What's the new transportation mobility? Is it TMI?
TOD.
TDM.
I'm sorry. TDM. The TDM will kick in, which will remove some of the barriers that we have had for
Right.
years that will require these certain parking spaces. So, just want to throw that out there.
Actually, I think it doesn't take effect until March of 2024. We
Okay.
just discussed
After
it. So
the first
I think it's March of 2024. It may even be a little bit later than that, because I think they are,
March 16th, Adam said. But your point is well
Okay.
taken, Councilman. We
Right.
but we got it.
thank you for making that comment.
Okay,
All right.
Ms.
Thank you. I'll be
Holzer,
quiet now.
thank you, we always enjoy your comments, Councilman. Ms. Holzer, do you want to make the friendly amendments to the motion, please?
I want to make sure that I talk them all. I feel like I'm confusing myself. So we have, it sounds like the friendly amendment is that we need a full scope of the site plan for multiple buildings in order to get a full picture of all of the buildings that Mr. Germany owns and how they all interplay with one another.
So that was my actual amendment. So you would be amending it to reduce the site plan to just this building that's in the
Just
calendar.
this building.
Or in the agenda rather, and the parking spaces for just the 4 things in that building. So Rosie's Restaurant, Go Mo Cafe, the laundromat, and the residences for the tenants on the second floor. So just that building. So that's what you would be amending, and then also the hours of operation.
Okay, so the friendly amendment will be a contingency of the site plan being resubmitted just for this single development, which includes Rosie's, the laundromat, the residences, the cafe, and the parking associated with just this building, and the hours of operation being 7 days a week, 6 a.m. to, and if I heard correctly, it was not 9 or 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
10 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Holzer.
Mhm.
Okay, I think we've captured everything. Everyone comfortable?
Yes.
All right. I need a second, please.
I can second.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. All right. Ms. Kukla, would you like to call the vote?
Thank you. Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Biggs.
Yes.
Calendar number 23-143 is granted conditionally. We will hold ratification until we receive that updated site plan. Once we receive that, we will ratify it the following Monday. Please feel free to contact our office for further instructions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Germany. It sounds like you're a great addition to the neighborhood and you have a wonderful relationship with the councilman. So good luck to you, and we may or may not see you again in the near future.
You will. But thank you.
And watch the donuts.
I'm trying.
Okay, have a good
Thank you,
day.
board. Thank you,
Enjoy
board.
your day.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Councilman.
Absolutely.
Have a
You,
good-
you all maybe should consider holding an offsite meeting there at one point. At some point for your voters only. All right, take care.
We've got a taco place in line too, so
Hey.
we'll make a day of it.
I may just come
Thank
visit
you.
then for tacos. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good Thanksgiving if we don't see you.
You
All
too.
right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, do we have Mr. Davenport on with us then?
Looks like it, yes.
Okay, great. So, and no other council people, correct?
Correct.
All right. So we have a bundle, Ms. Holzer?
And would you like me, I could read each of them in individually with their associated ordinances, but we'll read all, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 of them.
181, 184, 185, and 186.
Correct. Okay,
All right,
so I'll read all 4 of them.
okay.
All right, our next 4 cases are calendars number 23-181. This is at 6504 Father Caruso Drive. Gustav Molnar proposes to erect a 4-story frame single-family residence with attached garage in a B1 family residential district. The project area includes a City of Cleveland land bank parcel. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 4 for this one. Next, we have calendar number 23-184. This is at 6508 Father Caruso Drive. Again, Gustav Molnar proposes to erect a 4-story frame single-family residence with attached garage and a 4th floor habitable area in a B1 family residential district. This project area again includes a City of Cleveland land bank parcel. The owner appeals for relief for from the strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 7 for this one. Next, we have calendar number 23-185. This is at 6512 Father Caruso Drive. Gustav Molnar again proposes to erect a 4-story frame single family residence with attached garage and a 4th floor habitable area in a B1 family residential district. This project again includes a City of Cleveland land bank parcel. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 7 for this one as well. And finally, we have calendar number 23-186. This is at 6516 Father Caruso Drive. Gustav Molnar proposes to erect a 4-story frame, single-family residence with attached garage and a 4th floor habitable area in a B1 2-family residential district. This project includes a City of Cleveland Landing parcel. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 7. And with that, I will hand it all over to Ms. Roca for the oath.
Thanks for all that, Ms. Holzer.
All right, Maurice is gone. Mary, can you flip the slide?
Yeah.
Oh,
There you
thank
go.
you. We'll start with the individual on the phone. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please state your name. Please state your name, I do, and your address for the record. Do we have anyone on the call?
Yes, Brian Kaufman, the architect, I do. And our address is 17394 Detroit Avenue in Lakewood.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman.
No?
Anybody else on the call?
Yes, Gustav Molnar, owner, I do. Address 2514 West 7th Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44113.
All right. Anyone else on the call or in the room? No? You? Yes.
After that, we're city finance, so like I said.
All right. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Do you want to join us at the table or?
Sure.
Ms. Kukla?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This project area was originally industrial in 1999. In 2007, it was changed to the 2-family residential district. The area is also known as a range of addresses on West 65th Street, starting with 1208 and going to 1216. We found very little on these addresses, Madam Chair. We found that in 1995. In fact, we only found information on the addresses of 1214 through 1218. So in 1935, a permit was issued to erect a 1-story dwelling addition. 1928, a permit was issued to erect a 1-story store. And there was also a boiler house erected on the property in 1903. There are no variances on file for any of these addresses and nothing of note in the memorials.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Okay, Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances for all 4 of these from the minimum lot width, minimum lot area, maximum gross floor area, front yard setback, required rear yard, and interior side yard encroachment requirements of the zoning code. And for the last 3, they're also requesting an area variance from the attached garage requirements. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. And then I just had a note that the Board of Zoning Appeals is limited in its ability to grant encroachment beyond the required setback line per 329.04C1.
That for the front yard.
Yeah.
As usual.
Yes.
Always a point of contention. Okay. Mr. Kaufman, are you going to be the spokesperson?
Yes, I will.
All right. Would you like to walk us through the project and speak to the variances for each of the cases, please?
Okay, and sorry for quite the list of variances, but really it's been about a 1-year process right now of just working with Adam Davenport, HDRS, working with the Planning Commission and that on kind of organizing and laying out 4 single-family homes that are going to be built on this property. The real primary goal, I would say, with the Planning Commission, with HDRS, was to limit the amount of curb cuts that would be required. In this case, we are proposing just one additional curb cut. And then also how cars enter each of the garage areas and how they can pull out, see people walking on the street, and for the safety of that, that was kind of another goal. And we probably went through 3 meetings or so of just getting to a point where we all felt like this was the nicest compromise. From our standpoint, from Gusti, as we've been working with him, our goal was to try to get some backyard space. We felt that was very important for the marketing of these homes. And then also not seeing the garage doors, being able to, for them to kind of have their own somewhat private or separate access. And then south facing with the backyards being open, bringing in a lot of natural light. These projects we've kind of gone through and been developing them with clients. So they are real, with one that, we hope to kind of start construction in the spring. And to speak to each of the variance requests, it's kind of quite the list to kind of go through each of them. I'm happy to do that if you would like. They're organized right now with the addresses with 6504, which is the one to the east, and then going to the west, 6508, 6512, and 6516. 6504 and 508 are intended to have their own shared drive with the garage entering in from the back there. We have been working with the Planning Commission, and I believe they're in the process of drawing up a front setback line of 12 feet that we kind of all came to an agreement on. So that is in the process, along with other items on 6504. There's a minimum required lot of 40. We were proposing 35, which kind of equally splits up the overall properties into the 4 properties. The minimum lot area is 4,800 square feet, and we're proposing 3,661. And then the gross floor area shall not exceed 50% of the lot. And we're really in all these cases not particularly doing anything different than what is being done in this neighborhood. The one positive that we're really going for is these houses being separate, not townhomes, like a lot of the other kind of adjoining developments around there. It was just kind of a preference that we wanted to, again, for the marketability of each of the 4 homes. But it's a fantastic property, great views out over the lake, and we really are looking to do 4 like very special homes here to kind of add to that, a little bit of that, kind of streetscape that you see from the shoreway as you're kind of driving along there. Would you like me to continue going through each of the variances for each of them, or?
I have one question already.
Yeah, Ms. Roca has a question already.
Okay.
The curb cut that you're adding, is that the one on West 65th or the one on Father Cruz?
That one's on Father Caruso is the one that we're adding there.
Okay.
And it's
just sort of overview each one of them for us, please.
okay. Yeah, no problem. So we'll also be cognizant of where we put the air conditioning, the condenser, so it's not in the side yard encroachment in that. So for this first one, 6504, the 2 properties that sit adjacent to each other. One other thing that the city planning really was shooting for, and kind of our goal, was to keep the houses 6 feet apart from each other. Not really in relationship to what the setbacks are, but just making sure that wherever the properties are divided, that each house would be 6 feet from each other. So that was another big goal of that kind of the process. But so I've went through 6504, 6508, attached garage, again, to be in the rear half of the lot. We're proposing 37'2", when 52 feet is required. The minimum lot width, 40, proposing 32. A lot of the lot widths of these 2 units are driven a little bit by the other 2 in order to get driveway access and make sure that we can kind of back out cleanly and comfortably from both of the garages that actually kind of face each other. We required a minimum interior side yard of 3, and we're proposing 2 here. Again, maintaining our 6 feet between each of the houses. Required front setback is required is 20. We're proposing 12, which is the planning commission, and they're working on that front setback. I guess doing the mapping for that. The air conditioning unit, the rear yard is we're proposing 43, or proposing 28, and 43 is required. And we're just giving ourselves enough space here for one, comfortability of getting into these garages and still maintaining and having a nice kind of living space on the ground floor, with the intention of going up to the second floor in all these and having the main living space, kitchen, living, dining, nice and open, with bedrooms above that. And then we did want to, for the kind of neighborhood feel, keep front porches along the 4 of these too, just for kind of walkability of the neighborhood. So that was 6508, 6512. Again, 52 for the rear lot. We're proposing 37 foot 2, with the effort of trying to get 3-car garages in for both of these. 40-foot lot width. We're proposing 36.6. These 2 lot widths get a little bit bigger in order to make that driveway work. The maximum gross floor area is 50% of the lot, 1903 square foot. We're proposing 3,285. The minimum lot area required is 4,800 square feet. We're proposing 3,806. Required interior side yard required is 3 foot. We're proposing 1 foot, maintaining that 6 foot between the 2 houses. Required front yard setback 20. We're proposing 12 as of all the others. Air conditioning condenser unit not to be in the interior side yard encroachment. We'll certainly make sure we do that. And then for the last unit, that the attached garage, we are proposing 37 foot 2. It's required to be at 52 feet. Lot width is 40 foot required. We're proposing 36.6. Gross floor area not to exceed 50% of lot size. At 1,903, we're proposing 3,285. Minimum lot area required 4,800 square feet. We're proposing 3,806. In this case, the required interior side yard of 3 foot that's required. We are proposing 0 on this one to the very west. And that is still maintaining, I believe it's a 10-foot-9, close to 11-foot separation between that and the series of townhomes to the adjacent property there. Again, this is in order to get this kind of driveway to work. But the one thing we are proposing with this one, which would show in the upper floor plans, is that the garage itself will be on the property line. But the space above, living space and everything above will be at that 3 foot setback required. So it would be just the garage that we would want on the ground floor. We would take care of anything we needed to, fire rating wise and all that, to make sure that was protected. And then the air conditioning unit, again, will take care of required rear yard not being less than the height of the building, 43 feet. We're proposing 28. Front yard setback, again, 12 feet, where it's supposed to be 20. So that's the long kind of list of the variances that we're requesting. Really, we're going at it kind of with the suggestions of city planning and kind of their approval process that we went through to get to this point. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but I'll kind of leave it to you guys now.
Okay, so Mr. Kaufman, there's some questions that popped up. What's the distance on the 2 garages that are facing one another? What's the distance between those 2 for the size of that motor courtyard?
I believe it's 27 feet. It is listed on the site plan there, the previous one we were looking at.
Okay, so 27 feet.
I believe that's what we
And just to reiterate, on that one that's the furthest to the west, you mentioned that while the garage is 0 distance off the property line, the second floor, is there a third floor as well on that?
There would be a second and a third floor above that, but both of those would be set in the 3 feet.
Okay, so those are set in 3 feet.
Yep.
And what are you doing with regard to fire code? With
We'll
your
make sure with
finishings?
the building code and whatever's required of us through the permit process. You know, if it might be a 2-hour fire rated requirement there. Whatever it is, you know, we'll adhere to that and make sure that, yeah, we're designing it that way.
What are your finishing materials?
Oh, finishing materials. We're a little bit, I would say we're not quite there in that process of working with clients and designing these homes. Obviously, the one in the images you're seeing here is the most developed because we've gone the farthest with that client. We are in the process of working with other clients for the other 3 lots as well. But we are not far enough in the design to say, I guess, maybe what that material might be. But we'll make sure it has got the fire rating that's needed, whether it's a fiber cement board or something like that.
Okay, all right. That's usually my question if you're using a cementitious board, particularly when you've got, you know, those close variances between other structures. So those townhomes exist already. And it sounds like, have you got any of these 4 homes sold yet? Is that why you're working with clients on finishing materials, or are you just, you're gonna build them to spec and then just sell them off?
I don't know if Gusti, the developer that we're working with, maybe he'd want to answer to that if he was available.
No problem. This is Gusti Molnar. Gustav Molnar. So the question was to the home to the very east. That one we are designing with a client, actually from the neighborhood, just a couple blocks over.
Okay.
And then the other ones, we're just not there yet. We are trying to provide and fit each of these homes within the parameters per city planning and board of zoning. And then we'll come back to planning for the other 3 homes for materiality, windows, et cetera, landscaping.
Sure.
And all of that is going to be robust. And we understand the significance of this corner and how the walkway comes up from beneath the tracks and the shoreway. And it's going to be a project that we're going to be proud of for sure.
Yeah. And what's on the east building, what's the distance off the sidewalk or the street of the furthermost corner of that building?
I believe we were going to the 3 feet as well. And it's just a little bit of a question, is that 3 feet rounds the corner and then goes to kind of the 12 feet. That's yeah, it's, I guess with what the planning commission comes back with that setback map and how that kind of jogs to go to like a 3-foot setback along there. Even when we were proposing a lot of this, we were able to kind of identify within even whatever it is, the 500 feet or 150 feet, other properties that are similar setbacks to the sidewalk. I know past these townhomes to the west, there's a couple homes that sit right there on Father Crusoe that are also pushing kind of that front
Right.
setback.
I just have some concerns about the traffic at that particular point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can see with that unit, we are kind of stepping it. So we're trying
Yeah,
to
I
kind of
noticed that. Yeah.
pull away from it a little bit, even with a porch. Maybe the porch is probably going to step, and then however we get up to the balcony above for the second floor, just trying to maintain that 3-foot setback along there.
Mr. Molnar, I see you have your hand up.
Thank you. The turn-in, I just want to speak to the turn-in and how much that was like fundamental in this project and the safety of pedestrians in the street and making sure that every resident can pull directly into their home, turn around and pull out forward versus a rear or reversing into the street. Because the safety of pedestrians, that's priority. And we did come through, I think, 3 or 4 different iterations of this site plan to land here. And again, for that safety aspect.
Great, thank you. Okay, anything else, Mr. Kaufman, at this point?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Mr. Davenport, do you want to make comment?
Sure, yeah, thank you. So this is, like Gusti and Brian have been explaining, it's a pretty long time coming project. Gusti's owned the property to the south for a while, so something that was kind of, you were catching at the beginning, the city actually owns a land bank lot on the most northern part of this site. That's abutting Father Caruso. So, and we've owned that for who knows how long, but it's only a 40 by 120-foot parcel. And so short of having just one singular house on that, the site plan is basically dictated by whoever owns this property to the south. So we're comfortable and we want a more scalable development and you know, plus at least more than one unit of housing on that corner. So we're happy with this site plan. We've been working with Gusti and Brian for a while on it. And it's a good continuation of form of the townhouses to the west. But I think the key here to try and meet both parties' goals was a map setback. So that's going through council right now. That'll have to be taken care of by Jenny Spencer at DPNS and then full council to allow the houses to come within 12 feet of the sidewalk up there. But we have mapped that setback through planning commission. That's in through to council. So if today you wish to grant the variance is contingent on that map setback, that's an option. And then yeah, speaking to the rest of the variances, I think because this is a more comprehensive site, we're comfortable with how this scales per the plans. They obey all the fire code restrictions that we want to see and that we typically don't grant variances for, so we're comfortable with that. And then, yeah, any other questions kind of about the city process on our land side, I'm happy to answer, but that's the short.
So who's, they've been through almost all the processes, right?
Yeah, this is a long one because it's not, so it's on a land bank lot. Technically, it's within our Office of Real Estate. It's within the Economic Development Land Bank. So this will be appraised and sold for fair market value.
Okay.
So the city is going to do an appraisal.
Is that just one large lot at the north of the?
It's 40 by 120 ish.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Where is it on the map? I guess.
So there's a faint line right where the Gusti's building ends. And that's kind of that's basically the property line. So I think his is like 60 by 120 or something, and cities is 40 by 120.
Okay.
I think it's old right of way that we had for Father Caruso, and that's why there's like a sewer district intake up there as well, which may explain the really gradual curve in the road. I'm not sure of the exact history on that, but that's how we came in the ownership of it, I think.
So it's still, so if it is approved here, then they still have to go to council and get the map setback.
Correct.
And then, but they've been through all the other design review processes they need to go through.
Yeah, we grilled them on the site for a while on the houses for sure. And then all the planning commission approvals are in place as well. So the map setback for that, but no other approvals were needed because these are technically single family houses in other townhouse form. But
And on that curve on the eastern one, are you feeling like we're gonna need bollards or anything like that around that curve
no,
in the tree lawn?
no. If you go back to an aerial, it's like a really, if anything, it's more of a slower intersection because you see the stop bar right where that white car is.
Yeah.
It's pretty far back.
Yeah.
And so cars come up to it and stop there and then realize they can't see fully around the corner, so they kind of edge forward again.
Okay.
It's actually it's just a very weird
All right. That the aerial kind of helps.
Madam Chair.
That stop bars really far back.
I do want to ask a question. Am I hearing you say that you all are comfortable with how close the proposed buildings sit to the townhomes that are adjacent?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, so that still meets the 6 foot fire code restrictions.
Okay.
And then as Brian was explaining on the call, like after the garage foundation platform, you reach the second story, the house steps back
Okay.
further to meet the 3 foot setback typical requirement of new houses on their own parcel.
So the step back is 3 feet then for that second and third floor?
Yeah, where the orange outline is, it continues south.
Okay,
So that
all
second
right.
and third story
Is there
are,
gonna be a fence or anything along there to divide those? You don't know,
I
because
don't
they
know.
haven't planned
Yeah,
it yet.
maybe
I don't think they have,
They might not have space.
yeah. Mr. Kaufman, you don't have landscape plan or anything, do you?
We're not really at that point right now, and
Okay,
there would be some plan, I'm sure, to do some fencing in along that property line too.
okay. All right. Mr. Molnar, you had your hand up?
Just a comment on the fence that I already spoke with the neighbor regarding that, and very, very awesome neighbor adjacent that is supportive of this property, and the fence topic has already been discussed, and we'll make sure something solid is put there that makes him happy and the project looking great.
Okay, great, thank you. Mr. Rillens, do we have just for point of information, do we have elevations?
No, just what I showed you.
Okay, great. So very much in keeping then, at least the one on the east, yeah, that one. Very much in keeping with the townhouses then.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, around 67, 69, there's some of the first townhouse projects in the city built by Mike DeCesar, like Harbor View, or I
Yes.
forget what they're called. But they're
Right.
the blue ones with the staircases in front.
Yeah,
And then there's some additional couple at the corner of like 67th and Father Caruso over there that are more, oh, you can see it right there. They're more blocky.
yeah,
And
okay,
they're kind of, so yeah, to the far right of that aerial is kind of like what we're trying to avoid with this site plan, is like just rather than one house on one parcel over there.
Exactly.
On the northern edge of it,
Yeah.
we're trying to get a few more.
And I think that the other thing looks like you're trying to avoid, and I think you're doing a successful job at it here, is all of those garages.
correct, right.
Pulling into this, to the sidewalk, in and out of the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And backing out, which has always been a problem for, I know people who own some of those townhouses on 67, for pedestrians. So I think you've done a great job, trying to alleviate that issue in an area where we have tons of people walking, especially because there's a trail right there.
Yeah.
But I do have one question about the new curb cut. So I understand and fully appreciate that this is a difficult site to get garages in the back. And I'm glad that they're being proposed instead of the townhouses to the left, which have the garages on the bottom floor, because I think
Yeah.
that's a much more pedestrian friendly approach. I don't think it is, it's just objectively. But that curb cut, I'm a little confused how that works if people are, let's say there's a line of cars at the stop sign. How do they pull in out? We just have to, they're just
Just wait.
you just wait.
Just
Yeah.
wait, because they should be exiting forward facing.
Right. That's
Maurice,
the point of this.
Maurice, can we go back to the aerial that shows the stop bar?
But the stop bar is, so not, it's not exactly where that curb cut's gonna be, right?
Yeah, actually, oh, that's like, okay, I see what you're saying.
You see what we're saying?
Yeah, that's a
Trying
good
to
point.
line up that curb cut to where the stop bar is?
Yeah, maybe we could flag the stop sign, stop bar situation with traffic engineering and move it further east.
Yeah.
To align with the crosswalk and more up there. Because right now it's like right where that telephone pole and the stop bar are into the telephone pole's shadow on the aerial. Like the stop sign is also right there. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe we can push it further east to align with the crosswalk,
Everyone runs that stop sign. I mean, I
Yeah,
literally
you
was
like
right there and
glide-
didn't realize the
glide
stop
past it.
sign was all
Yeah.
the way back there. Recently. It's confusing for drivers.
Yeah.
And then when we add in a curb cut now, I don't know, it seems confusing.
I feel like,
Yeah.
I feel
No,
like
that's-
maybe there's an opportunity, for a crosswalk on the west side of the intersection
Yeah,
to align with a moved stop bar.
yeah.
So that would sync up with that new curb cut.
That'd be nice too, because so that you can see the path exits right in
Right.
the middle of the intersection.
Exactly.
And there's only a sidewalk to the east.
Right, so
if
I
we
think-
Put another sidewalk.
Right,
to
so
the
I think it
west.
would give
Yeah.
the pedestrians,
Yeah, this is not an
And-
issue for the appellant, obviously.
Right.
But it
we have an
does,
opportunity to discuss this, so.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah. We could flag that with.
but it does in the overall scheme of putting a curb cut there,
Yeah.
now we're changing,
Sort of
what
the
happens with
dynamic.
traffic
Yeah.
too.
The dynamics of the intersection. And maybe do it as a striped pedestrian crossing.
Yeah, it would definitely be just kind of similar to what you see there with the two lines.
Yeah, we can't,
Defining.
we can't stripe it. You know, like,
Oh, like a ladder?
yeah,
style?
like a ladder style. So it's marked,
We
it's
can always
marked.
ask.
Okay,
It's always a question with the traffic engineering office on how much maintenance they want to upkeep because they paint thousands of these around the city
right,
every year.
exactly. But
So,
I think given the fact that that's egress and
for sure.
for the trailhead,
Yeah, it's a prominent point, and there's a lot of people walking diagonally through that intersection to get down to that
right,
the
so.
the tunnel.
I
through
mean,
the Edgewater.
it's not related to this project, but I think it gives us an
Yeah.
opportunity
No, that's a good
to
point.
make improvements on that intersection
Well-
for our pedestrian and our active transit folks.
Yeah, definitely.
And with the area variances, I mean, one of the factors, legal factors we take into consideration is the essential character of the neighborhood. And the traffic pattern with this new curb cut, I think, would play into that, so,
Yeah,
um,
no, that's a great suggestion. Yeah, we didn't discuss that, but that's really great. Yeah, we
And
could
I think it would benefit then the homeowners as well.
we could definitely, I would say we could definitely move the stop sign and the stop bar. That's an assured thing that we can definitely do. It's always a question of what they want to paint and stripe, and if we can put in a sidewalk to connect to the westward kind of distance from the path to a crossing, then we could probably stripe something too.
Who actually owns the fitness path? Is that city? Is that Metro Parks?
It's city, I think.
Okay.
Until you get it, no, it's all city. It's all city because we technically still own Edgewater. We just lease it to the Metro Parks.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
it's a 99-year lease.
Yeah.
So it's effectively it.
But I think on the southern part of the tracks right here, I think this is our land because it's right adjacent to
To the tracks.
the right of way of Father Caruso.
Yeah,
Tracks.
okay, all right. So, let's try and make that pitch
Yeah,
to them,
yeah, we could do.
because I think that would improve that whole intersection.
Yeah,
Make it safer, make it more user-friendly.
yeah,
That was my main concern with the project, and then also the visibility on the most east-facing unit and the sidewalk and
Right,
that turn.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
if you are comfortable with how you've planned it and you think there's enough visibility there, then I think the board can be comfortable with that. But I definitely think moving the stop sign bar, and those items we've discussed will help with the curb cut on
Yeah.
Father Crusoe.
yeah.
so that's my concern as well too, because, we don't want a vehicle going into the front porch of that house.
Yeah.
Much like the West Boulevard and I-90 exit ramp situation,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if we need bollards, large boulders,
Yeah.
something of that nature.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
So,
Generally, I think people are going a little bit slower here than that intersection you referenced, but people speed everywhere.
Totally.
we don't want a brand new house that has a car in it.
That would not be preferred.
No. Okay. Oh, and I think it's contrary to our Vision Zero philosophy. Okay, so, I think we've discussed that sidebar, right?
We have.
We're
and, Yeah, again, appreciate that the developer and the architect are going to great lengths to not have garages for people backing in and out of the sidewalks, which is very much appreciated.
Absolutely. Okay. Any other questions or comments, board? All right. So I'll entertain a motion then.
All right, I move that we approve calendar numbers 23-181, 184, 185, 186, based on the testimony that we've heard today from the appellant, with addition from city planning. I would condition the motion on the appellant obtaining the map setback from city council as was testified to today. And I move to approve.
Could I have a second, please?
Madam Chair, I would second the motion.
Thank you. Ms. Wilson has the second. Ms. Kukla, could you call a vote?
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Zoley?
Yes.
Calendar numbers 23-181, 23-184, 23-185, and 23-186 are granted. It will be ratified next Monday, and we will send the accounts.
Madam Chair, one question. I missed, did you specifically state that you're not granting the front yard setback variances, right?
We can't.
You can't.
We can't.
But, and you stated.
Oh, I did
I
not.
missed it when,
Oh, in crafting the motion, I did not state that, did I?
I'm just wondering if that should be part of the motion, just to be clear that you're not granting the front yard setback.
Yes.
We
it
can
should
add that
be.
as a friendly amendment.
A friendly amendment to the motion that this board does not have jurisdiction to grant front yard setbacks. We are not doing so at this time.
Okay, great. All right, gentlemen, good luck with the project. We'll look forward to seeing it come to fruition.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Have a nice holiday.
You as
Thank
well.
You too.
Take care.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks.
See what you can do on that intersection.
Good luck with that.
Short break.
Meet next month.
Yeah. So we need Thursday this week, obviously. Or any this week, stay 4 to 5 days.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be able to.
Oh.
Yeah. Done this enough time, now we know that.
Yeah.
Don't forget to.
Thank you. All right, we're moving on to calendar number 23-193. Ms. Holzer?
Sure thing. Our next case is calendar number 23-193. This is the appeal of Frederick Sims from the decision of the Commissioner of Assessments and Licenses regarding the denial of tow truck application LUOU 23-00073. Frederick Sims appeals under the authority of Section 76-6B of the Charter of the City of Cleveland and Section 329.02D from the decision of the Commissioner of Assessments and Licenses to deny application LUOU 00073, and this appeal was filed on October 27th, 2023. With that, I will hand it over to Ms. Roca for the oath.
Do we have appellants present for this case?
Madam Chair, we just got a message that he is logging in now,
Okay,
so maybe a couple of minutes.
all right.
Ms. Dalton is here if you want to swear her in.
All right, I am going to administer the oath. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please reply with I do, state your name and your address. Is there anyone on the call for this case? Is there anyone in the room for this case? Is there anyone from the city for this case? Maybe. Hello?
Hi, everybody. Good day.
Okay.
Thanks for stopping in.
All
All right, do we have a representative from the city for this case? There we go. All right.
Ms. Talton, go right ahead.
Are you muted, Ms. Talton?
I'm informed that the appellant is here now.
All right. Mr. Sims, we're gonna go ahead and administer the oath to you. Can you hear us?
Yes.
All right, and we can hear you.
All right,
Excellent.
Mr. Sims, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply with I do, state your name and your address.
I do. My name is Frederick Sims. Address, excuse me, 2618 East 111, Cleveland, Ohio.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Ms. Talton, did you want to also swear in?
I had a message that she is calling user 2. Can we unmute her, please?
No, they have to unmute themselves. Hit
All right.
*6 to unmute
*6 to unmute,
if you're on
or
the,
if you're on the call.
there you go.
There you go.
Hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I do, LaRonda Talton, Division of Assessments and Licenses, 601 Lakeside Avenue.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Is that everyone?
I think that's it.
I think that's it. Okay. Back
Okay.
to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Roca. Well done.
It's a little confusing there for a
We'll
minute.
get everybody. Ms. Kukla, you have anything to input to this?
Chair, just that the letter that we received from the city states, and this is from Commissioner Dedrick Stevens, it states that the application was denied for the following reasons. This is under these sites 677A .15E, perjury or false swearing. The applicant did not disclose felony conviction in 202. So pursuant to section 76-7, has the ability to appeal to this office. And also you did receive his appeal statement. I know that was sent to you last week. I can read that in, but he's also here to explain.
And what was it a date of 2002 for that?
Number is 202. I'm not sure if that's a code section or if that's a year or it's supposed
The
to be a year.
actual offense, it's 2020.
It's 2020.
Yeah.
Wait, the fence was in 2020?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, you haven't done the legal standard.
Right, I know. We're just trying to seek clarification on that date. Okay. Go ahead,
Madam
please.
Chair, members of the board, appellant is appealing an administrative decision of the Commissioner of Assessments and Licenses. Standard of review to be applied is whether the administrative decision was illegal, arbitrary, capricious, unreasonable, or unsupported by the preponderance of substantial, reliable, and probative evidence. If the appellant fails to meet this burden, the administrative decision must be affirmed.
Great, thank you. Okay, Mr. Sims, would you like to state your case, please?
Yes. So I didn't reveal the charge. I'm sorry, I'm at work at the moment. If you guys hear any noise. Because my original case is what usually is the one I have to discuss all the time. And honestly, I didn't go to prison for this or nothing like that. So it slipped my mind. So it wasn't that I was trying to lie on my application or anything like that. I literally just forgot about the charge. I got probation for it, and I was already on parole at the same time for the original case. So it honestly was a mistake.
Sir, it was a conviction, no, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you're stating that you just simply forgot about it.
Yeah, I honestly forgot about it because when I go apply for jobs, they don't never talk about that case. They talk about the original charge that I got, from 2015. So I honestly just forgot about it.
Okay.
Just the honest truth.
All right, Ms. Talton, do you want to bring us up to speed on where you stand with this?
Well, codified ordinance chapter 677A.15 specifically states the reasons and charges and convictions that will prevent the issuance of a tow truck driver's license. Failing to state the conviction, the offense, to list it on the application is an automatic, automatically disqualifies you from a license. There was actually two convictions that were omitted. One was tampering with records, which is a felony 3, and the other one was failure to provide notice of change of address, which is also a felony 3. So those were
So
my
both of
denial
these,
reasons.
both of these were felonies?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So
I
tampering,
wasn't aware of the other one being I don't know what is that, tampering with what? I never received a charge for that.
It
Mine
says
was just
count
for
2.
address.
It says count 2, tampering with records, felony 3. Count 1 was the failure to provide notice of change of address, which was the felony 3. And this is directly from the Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas website.
Yeah. Well, when I got convicted, it was for the address. They didn't say that it was anything about tampering with evidence.
Okay. All right, questions or comments, board?
yes, I have a question for Ms. Talton with respect to section 677A.15 of the code. So the items listed in that section about convictions, do they apply forever? So there's no time limit? So basically, if you have a felony, if you're convicted of a felony for any reason listed in that section, you can never get a license, is that correct?
No, Section G states conviction of a violation of the law involving violence, theft, or any form of stealing, or a crime involving moral turpitude that is reasonably related to this license within 5 years preceding the filing of the application. So the offense has to be 5 years old.
Okay,
Okay,
5
5
years.
Am I still allowed to talk?
Just 1 second.
One second.
Okay. Okay, sorry.
So if the appellant were to apply for this 5 years from now, this license, or, in the future, he could potentially obtain the license. It's just a matter of the timing. Is that correct?
Correct. It's 5 years from when he was convicted of this charge, which was, I'm going through the court docket. This was July. He was actually convicted on July 6, 2021.
My birthday.
2021?
Well, no, not 2021. All right, so
Okay,
5
so
years.
that was for both of the charges?
I'll read directly from the court docket. Mr. Sims is correct. The second charge was nollied. So it says defendant retracts a former plea of not guilty and enters a plea of guilty to notice of change of address of felony 3 as charged in counts 1 of the indictment. Count 2 are nollied. So that was the actual conviction date.
So then one conviction on July 6, 2021.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're not quite, well, we're 2 years from that.
Correct.
Okay, now, Mr. Sims, I'm done.
All right, you done?
I'm done with that line
Okay.
of questioning, yes.
All right. So, Mr. Sims, as you heard Ms. Talton state, you had the 2 convictions. The one, and it fell to 1 charge apparently, with a conviction date of July 6th of 2021. And it's a 5-year wait before you can receive a license after such a conviction. Do you understand that?
Yeah and no, because I thought I maybe said that it was you can't get it if you have like a violent charge or a theft or anything like that, and this isn't a violent charge or a theft charge.
Yeah, that raises a question for me.
Okay, Ms. Wilson,
Does-
one moment, Mr.
is
Sims.
this-
Ms. Wilson has a
Okay,
question.
okay.
To Ms. Talton, I know that 677A requires certain convictions to be in place. Can you help us understand exactly which part of 77A is in violation here? Because I want to make sure that the conviction we have before us relates to the convictions that are barred in 77A.
Well, I deny him specifically on Section E, perjury or false swearing in making a statement under oath in connection with his or her application for a driver's license.
Does the code require there to be a conviction for that?
No, not the conviction, just the fact that he omitted the charges and the convictions. The application specifically states to list, it says list and provide details of the following. Each time you have ever been summoned to court, no time frame. Each time you have ever been arrested or convicted of a felony or misdemeanor, and all traffic violations within the past 12 months. Mr. Sims only listed the 2015 offenses. He did not provide any information on the 2020 to 2021 offenses and or convictions.
So, Madam Chair, I guess I want to make sure that we understand the code, because the code requires there to be a conviction of perjury. Am I understanding that correctly? And it doesn't seem like there's been a conviction of perjury.
Of the perjury. Right.
It just says perjury or false swearing, and because this application, when he signed it, he acknowledged that, he was making, all the information was true and correct.
So is your testimony, Ms. Talton, that because that is a sworn statement, that you're saying he's in violation of the code because he, in a sworn statement, he didn't disclose his conviction in 2021?
Correct.
Is that what your decision is
Yes,
based
ma'am.
on?
Yes, because all of the charges and convictions, they were connected. The 2020 and 2021 charges they all stemmed from his 2015 charges and convictions. I just don't
Well,
want
if
to
they
put
stem,
too much
well,
of
if they
this
stem,
information
right,
out
yeah.
because it's,
So let me just clarify your testimony here. What I think I heard you say is that the 2020 and 2021 conviction stemmed from his 2015 conviction, which he did disclose.
Right,
that
but it was correct, and it was a separate case. It wasn't a continuance of that first case. These were a separate set of charges because of something he didn't do as a result of his 2015 case.
But to Ms. Wilson's point, was he convicted?
Of the 2020, 2021?
Correct.
Yes, he was actually convicted.
I think the question is, was he convicted of making a false statement? What I'm hearing is that he was convicted of failure to change address. Or was he convicted of making a false statement, which is required by 677?
Right. Did you hear that, Ms. Talton?
Yes, I did hear her, but the perjury or false swearing is not in the court of law. That's from what he provides on his application for a license.
Okay. Does that help, Ms. Wilson?
That's a little more confusing.
Yeah, so what I think, what we're struggling with here is the code specifically says that there are certain convictions, so no driver's license provided for in section 677A shall be issued or renewed if the applicant has been convicted of any of the following offenses, and the offenses are listed, like manslaughter, negligent homicide, driving a motor vehicle, etc. And E is perjury or false swearing and making a statement under oath in connection with his or her application for a driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Sims was not convicted of crime of perjury or false swearing for his failure to state his conviction in the statement. We have just not issued his license. I guess that's what we're struggling with, is the code says he has to be convicted. And perjury is an actual offense.
Correct.
So he hasn't been convicted of perjury, nor has he been convicted of false swearing. So he hasn't been convicted of these crimes.
In a court of law.
In a court of law, correct.
Right. Though he did on his application.
Though he did omit
the information,
a conviction that he has for something else,
right,
on his application, which does require a sworn. I think it's probably like an affidavit.
Right.
So and
that goes back to 2015.
And that goes back to 2015, which
is
more than 5 years ago.
Ms. Wilson, any further thoughts?
No further thoughts.
If Ms. Holzer, you have anything to chime in with this?
I do not.
Okay.
If he had put it on there, would he have gotten his tow truck license?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's correct, Ms. Talton. Our legal advisor is asking if he had put that on his application, would his license have been issued?
What is license?
Ms. Talton?
I think, yes.
Okay. Question from our legal advisor was if he had included that information on his application, would you have issued him a license?
Yes, ma'am. He would have been issued a license.
Okay.
Is there a process to just amend the application to correct the error?
Okay. Did you hear that question from Ms. Wilson?
No, I did not. I didn't hear the lower voice.
All right.
Is there a process for Mr. Sims to amend the application to correct the omission?
No, we have never amended the application. I would have him complete a new application.
Okay.
Okay. And if he were to complete a new application and include all this information, would he be issued a license at that point?
Yes, if everything else is in, accordance with the ordinance, yes, he will be issued a license.
Is there a fee every time you apply for a license?
Yes, ma'am, it's $10.
Oh, it's
So they need
$10.
action from this board.
Madam Chair, the
Yes.
process may be that they don't give them a second chance to reapply. They give them the ability to appeal to this board, and then we make a decision.
Right. Right. I think we're just looking for options.
Rather than having him withdraw and reapply, I think we need to make a decision.
Exactly.
on
Yeah. Right. Okay, ladies, what would you like to do?
I'm prepared to craft a motion, but I want to make sure that I'm using the right language. It seems to me that the decision was not supported by the evidence that I am hearing, because I don't hear conviction of perjury, which means I would grant the appeal. I would move to grant the appeal and overturn the decision. Is that right? Okay.
Madam Chair, if she'd like, we can have our attorney read the legal standard again, but.
She just cited it.
She stated it.
Unsupported by the preponderance of substantial, reliable, and probative evidence.
Okay.
Okay.
I would stand by that.
Okay. All right. Okay. So
I second.
thank you. We have a second? Okay.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Bates.
Yes.
File number 23-193 is granted. The board will ratify this decision next week, and we will send the appellant a letter. We'll also send Ms. Paulson a copy of the letter.
So what does he do now?
So he has now been, the ruling of the administrative body has been overturned. So he has been granted, I believe, the ability to amend his application.
Right.
To add in his convictions. That is my understanding of the procedural process here, but I'm going on limited facts.
Right.
But if we overruled it, he probably doesn't even have to amend it. He probably just.
Enough.
They just.
No, I think he still has to reapply
He
based on
has,
what Ms.
he has to
Talton testified. But that is something, Ms. Talton, are you prepared to work with Mr. Sims on next steps?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All
great.
right. Thank you.
And that would be after we ratify.
Right. So, Mr. Sims, what we're going to do at this point is, we've given your appeal, we've approved your appeal, but it means you must now reapply and work with Ms. Talton on the application, making sure that all your information is current and correct and fully disclosed.
And Mr. Talton, just one bit of advice, you can go to the Court of Common Pleas and put your own name in and look at any information the court has on you, and I would suggest you do that so you don't miss anything. You can go to their docket.
Mr. Sims, are you with us? Did you hear that?
Yes. I'm with you. I'm sorry.
Okay, you have the benefit of 2 attorneys on the board here, in addition to our legal counsel.
I'm not providing you with legal advice, to be
No,
clear.
no one's providing,
no one's providing legal advice.
No providing legal
I'm just
advice.
suggesting that it's public information. Your court, the court docket is publicly available, and anyone can go there, and you can put in your name and see the convictions that you have, and use that to fill out your application.
Okay. Just to make sure I won't do this. I appreciate everyone. Thank you so much.
We want you to be fully compliant and work with Ms. Talton for your best possible resolution to this. Okay? We don't.
Okay.
You've been polite, but we prefer not to have you back.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'll be sure to put the comments in there regarding reapplying so that it's on the record.
Excellent. Thank you.
And I know we're trying to get out here. Just for the record, I filled out this paperwork at my job and in the garage. It wasn't like, they didn't like explain to me the seriousness of everything either. It was like, hurry up and fill this out. And I always put down my main charge because everything is connected. And when you're on parole, like if you catch a charge on parole, if you look it up, it all falls under the same number. So I figured when I put the original case down that everything will pop up. I wasn't trying to hide anything. But thank you for
What you've learned today, though, is that,
Right.
that the city requires more detail than that.
yes.
So chalk this up to a learning opportunity.
Okay.
When we know better, we can do better, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Okay.
So my next step is to do what?
Come down to Cleveland City Hall, room 122,
Okay.
with your driver's license.
Okay.
Madam Chair, of course, it's up to Ms. Talton if she wanted to take the application before we ratify it, but we will ratify this next Monday and we'll send him a letter. Madam Chair, I have one question. Does the appellant have to apply yearly for this license?
I think
Yes,
Ms.
this
Talton,
is an annual license.
This is an annual license. Yeah, we get this every once in a while. Is the
Okay, I just couldn't remember.
yeah, because remember the one we had a few weeks ago? Who was
Yeah, that was a
repeat-
tow truck driver as well.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So thank you, Ms. Talton, for working with the appellant. I really appreciate it. And I think we're done with that case.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate it.
again.
Thank you.
Okay. Happy Thanksgiving.
You as
Happy
well.
Thanksgiving.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, Ms. Holzer, moving on to calendar number 23-193.
Wait, we have two calendar numbers for the same thing.
Yes, we do.
So the one we just had was 23-193, and then this one is also
23-193. Good catch.
It is one. Oh, the appeal from the tow truck was 192. Apologize for the typo.
Okay.
Put that amendment on the resolution.
All right, just so it's corrected, we had a typo on that last case. So that was actually case number 23-192, which was read in as calendar number 23-193. So that correction's been made. So now we are moving on to calendar number 23-193.
Got it. Thank you. And I believe this is our last case.
Yes, it is.
Our next The next and last case is calendar number 23-193. This is at 3160 West 56th Street. Building Hope in the City / Nehemiah Collaborative Limited owner proposes to erect a 3 quad unit building, 1 duplex building, and a 14-space parking lot on 25,323 on a 25,323 square foot lot in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 3, with a note that a lot consolidation is required. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Roca for the oath.
Good morning, or is it afternoon yet? No, it's still morning.
Still morning.
All right, I'm going to administer the oath. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply with I do. State your name and your address for the record.
I do. Jeffrey Stredney, 1952 West 54th Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44102.
Can you please state your spell your last name for our court reporter who's on the call?
Stredney, S-T-R-E-D as in dog, N as in Nancy, E as in Edward, Y as in yarn. Stredney.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do. Ryan Bodine, 6212 Heron Circle, Youngstown, Ohio, 44515.
Bodine?
Correct.
All right, thank you. Our court reporter isn't present in the room, but she is present with us. So thank you.
All right. Anyone on the call for this case?
Yes.
Oh.
I do. Gary Name with Petros Homes, spelled N as in Nancy, A-I-M as in Mary. Address is 4223 Brecksville Road, Richfield, Ohio, 44286.
And that's with, you're with Petros?
Correct.
Did you say?
Just collaborating with them on this project. Yes.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay.
Madam Chair, I did notice that Brittany Pavone, the neighborhood planner for this area, is on the call. I just want to make sure if she's going to make a recommendation, she should be sworn in. Brittany?
Right,
Brittany,
okay.
are you planning on speaking today? You're on mute.
I think BR may be our Brittany.
There are 2 Brittany's.
Right. Brittany from City Planning, are you with us?
Well, we can maybe swear her in later if she.
Okay.
Yeah.
Swear her in if she
Okay.
starts to talk.
Will be the first time we've done that.
Right.
Okay, Ms. Kukla?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1890, a permit was issued to erect a 1-story dwelling. And then we see, Madam Chair, in 1997, a violation notice was issued regarding condemnation. And then in 2012, we see the permits were issued for residential board up. In 2013, there is a demolition record on, placed on that address. That's all that I have. Thank you.
What year was the demo?
2013.
2013.
Great, thank you. Okay, legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and area variances from the parking screening and minimum lot size requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Great, thank you. Who's going to be the spokesperson, gentlemen?
I'll speak, and if we have technical issues, I'll kick it over to Ryan if that's okay.
That's fine. Go ahead.
You guys want to go through your presentation? That's forward and back.
Forward and back with the arrows? With the arrows?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. We appreciate the opportunity to be here today. So Building Hope in the City, we are a local nonprofit, 20 years we celebrated this year, operating right in the city of Cleveland. And in particular, we've epicentered in Ward 14. We operate a variety of programs that serve residents in Ward 14 and throughout greater Cleveland. Those programs include refugee and immigration services and the drop-in center. They include some of our supportive housing, where we've had U.S. veterans that have been housed, multi-generational families that are from the neighborhood currently being displaced. We have social enterprises that employ people in the community. And then we have leader development and cohort development for nonprofits and businesses that want to kind of journey better together through business. In 2015, at the request, not so much of us, but of the Metro West CDO and residents, with so much blighted land, we were asked if we, doing what we do in the community, could consider housing and consider being a partner in the housing effort to restore Ward 14. And so we said yes. And so since that time, we have taken on a variety of properties from the county land bank, and we have renovated them to health. And then we've put a lot of wonderful people in our community into those homes in a supportive environment. This is our first effort for new build construction. And it came about by looking at the vacant parcels that are in our ward, nearly 1,000 vacant parcels in Ward 14 alone. And we wanted to do more. And so with the help of wonderful people in the community, with Metro West CDO and others, we embarked on this journey. As we sit before you today, we have received full CPC clearance. July 7th, we had full design review. We went through the entire Near West design review process and collaborated very closely with council persons, with the city, and with resident stakeholders. In my initial letter, you can see a variety of things that we have done in the community, but in particular, this development will be providing supportive services to tenants and neighbors. So it's not just the people in the homes, but the neighbors surrounding as well. Employment, education, immigration programs, and more. Our offices are located on West 58th Street, one block west of where this development will be. And we have received strong commendation for the infill housing and the approach that we've used from the Metro West CDO. We have letters of support to show that as well, not only from the original director that started it, Ricardo Leon, but then Kristen Zolos, interim director Nick De Leon, and now executive director Dr. Emily Lee. And so we have those as well. So we have our site plan today, our drawings and floor plans, our rendering, and then a letter of support, which I will note has a West 61st in it. It's because there's two developments we're proposing that are identical, and they happen to just submit for that one as well. So as we move through, we provided a timeline. And then I will ask, is there a way to make the site plan larger?
I can, yes.
Yeah, if you would like to do that. Thank you. So what we're proposing is 3 quad unit buildings and 1 duplex. This is on 4 parcels right now. Nehemiah Collaborative, Building Hope in the City, we own the southernmost parcels. And then we have our application into the city land bank for the northernmost parcel. And as of last week, checking in with manager Joseph Giuliano, pronouncing the name properly, we are lined up to receive that final lot as well. We will be consolidating all parcels. It was with guidance from Naveed Hussain that we applied just for 3160 for the variance, to note that then there will be a consolidation after receiving that lot from the land bank. In the design review process, we went through a variety of steps to ensure that there would be access to green space, minimize concrete, and respect for neighbors and residents that are nearby. As you can see, the number of units is what makes this feasible. We are doing below market rate rental opportunity. We do not have any subsidy. We are not a LIHTC deal. This is just people in the community paying it forward, really being a loss leader for the redevelopment of Ward 14. While there's been a lot of attention and development over in the Clark Fulton side, about West 44th it stops. And then everything past that, there isn't a lot of new development. Keisha Gonzalez, formerly of Metro West CDO, now with the Cleveland Foundation, spoke at one of our events that this is the most significant residential development in that neighborhood, her neighborhood, in 20 some years. And so we have a lot of collaboration and support around this. For us, at that below market rate opportunity, this density of properties is what makes this even just break even economically viable. For us to take a building away or to take units away, we would not be able to move forward with the project. So that's speaking to the point of, proving that there's an economic hardship or other hardship to not move forward in this way. That's why we would like to propose putting the buildings on this space, even though technically it's less space than the city code would require. And then in terms of the relief for the barrier for parking, that is something we're totally negotiable on. Originally, we had more trees and shrubbery as that barrier, but going through the design review process, it was very strongly recommended by the design review committee to remove that so that there was more green space for tenants to play and to just have open spaces in the backyard. If we need to put shrubs or trees back in to create that barrier, we are more than happy to do so, and it would not be a hindrance to us.
So these are below market rate. Are they subsidized?
They're, well, subsidized in the sense of wonderful people from the nonprofit and private donors are helping to pay for the build. We have PRI from the Cleveland Foundation and Community West Foundation. And for all of that together, that's what's going to allow us to build them. And then the below market rate is what we're passing on to the tenants that will be in the building.
So do you have an idea of what that rate's going to be?
Yeah, we're targeting for somewhere between $750 to $875 for the units.
Okay.
New build, 2-bedroom, 2-bath housing, which what we've heard from the Metro CDO is tremendous and is much needed in the community right now.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, we appreciate all questions. I think that satisfactorily addresses what we know of for the variance issues. I will note that we've had support and approval from Director Huang, from the City Planning Commission, from all of City Planning. Brittany, whether she's able to join or not, has spoken strongly to the project on record and has commented on working with our organization. So this is our first project. So if there's anything we're doing wrong, we'll take any correction. But we've been operating 20 years and we would love to see this happen. I can also note we did receive 2 letters of support from residents on West 56th Street. They did submit it to the Board of Zoning Appeals that, if you permit me, I would read. They're very brief.
Have you submitted those to our secretary, Ms. Kukla?
They were submitted to whatever was on
Yes,
the
they were.
Board of Zoning Appeals.
Okay, so we have those.
Okay.
All right.
So number 1 is from Jamari Gonzalez. She says, my name is Jamari Gonzalez. I live at 3305 West 56th Street. I am supportive of the new proposed housing, giving the site address, because it will create an opportunity for affordable housing on our neighborhood and a home for many families. And then we have another email of support from Luis Luna. To whom this may concern, my name is Luis Luna and I live at 3305 West 56th. I am ready to express my support for the proposed housing because as a resident for almost 20 years, I believe in this neighborhood and the potential of this proposed housing. And then additional letters of support, again, for the exact same development, although just a couple blocks over, is from Dr. Emily Lee from the Metro West CDO. And I'll note that we have been awarded the Nonprofit Partner of the Year award from the Metro West Community CDO.
So, okay. Ms. Golds, do you want to look at the plan?
She has a copy.
Oh, is there a copy? Okay.
Oh, the elevation. So
There's the plan view.
thank you.
Okay. All right, Brittany, we just need to swear you in before you can make testimony.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, state your name and your address for the record. And I do, sorry.
Brittany Fairbairn, City of Cleveland, US, Hudson, Canada.
Do you want to come up here so we can hear you a little better? You can pull up a chair.
This will be quick and painless. We've worked for quite a while. I'm happy to say that I also come from Metro West CDO. So seeing this project come to fruition on the other side of that has been a pleasure. They've been great to work with. They've taken community input, they've taken design review input and put it all and implemented it into their design. City planning has no apprehension for this project has been widely approved, and with all of the people that were mentioned, I've had communications with Board of Zoning Appeals, City Planning, and the building and housing itself. So we're good with this project.
How many community meetings have there been? Do you know?
For this project, for design review, they've gone through all processes, so that's been 6.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Any questions or comments, board?
I did want to ask about the screening in the backyard green space. So you testified today that through the many meetings that you've been a part of, it was suggested to leave that more open and have more green space, which I totally understand. So I just want to make sure I understand that you're not putting any fencing between the properties or anything like, or landscaping. It's all gonna be open back there. But with regard to the parking lot, you're not screening that either. Is that correct?
As of now, we're not, but we're very open to doing that if that's
Okay.
what's needed and would be beneficial. It was not brought up at any point along the way, just to remove it. So that would be something we can do. Brian, would you like to speak to that further?
No, yeah, it's something we can easily accomplish, whether it be landscaping or some type of fence along that parking lot.
Well, I guess my only thought is on the, oh man, which is that, west or east? So hard to see this.
North, south, if you're looking east.
Yeah. if you don't mind.
Here we go.
Okay. So on this side here, we got this little strip next to a adjoining property.
Yes, that's the
I guess-
northern side.
That's the northern side,
Yeah.
okay. You know, I think having some screening there might be beneficial.
Sure.
But I understand why you're not screening it back here, because you want to keep it open. And this is just green space, it's not adjoining, it's not really that close to these people's garage, but this side here, to me, it seems like there would be.
Is that a single family house?
It is.
on that
It is.
side?
It is a
Yes.
single-family
Okay,
house.
so I think typically we would ask for a board-on-board fence there.
Okay.
Or some landscaping or something.
Yeah, or I think, let's just look here, we've got first floor bedrooms in the back, right?
Correct.
On the, yeah. So, typically we might ask for some landscape screening just to alleviate
The
headlights
lights.
into the bedroom.
Sure, makes a lot of sense.
You're saying right here in the.
Yeah, yeah, just right along here.
Or maybe Madam Chair, maybe a 4-foot fence in that area.
I mean, if you're trying to maintain,
Yeah.
you testified you want to maintain a green space, which I understand, and you have a lot of great green space here. I hate to, suggest a fence to kind of separate that. I think you could probably achieve the spirit of the code and deal with the headlight issue and with just landscaping.
Agreed.
Are we anticipating children in these units?
Yes, there will be.
Okay, that may change things a little bit, just to give a little more protection from vehicles to play space. Brittany, you want to weigh in on this? Since you're the planner for the area? We're looking at that area between the parking lot and the green space. And the fact that there's going to be children occupying these buildings.
Yeah, maybe considering like a buffer zone on that side of the parking would be good. I believe landscape might be the best option.
You want
just
like,
because kids play, they have bikes, maybe a basketball, like it
Right.
always feels like they also may utilize that space at some point. So closing it off maybe might not be the best. That's
okay, so we'll go with some landscaping. then. I prefer that.
Tend to agree on the landscape.
Okay, all right. All right, so
And that only
we'll,
needs to be 4 feet, right, according to the code?
yeah,
and for the parking.
So, parking spaces shall be screened from all adjoining lots by fence, wall, or strip of at least 4 feet wide, densely planted shrubs.
That's just for adjoining, not within your own
Yeah,
property.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
that would be
But
like
we're
if it,
asking for adjoining and.
right.
So you're gonna have the fence. You would want to be 4 feet tall, right?
Well,
On the
the
north
city's,
side.
on the north side, I think we're still sticking with landscaping. We're still suggesting landscaping. But we were also suggesting landscaping on the, whatever.
We're suggesting fence here to separate from the adjacent neighbor. And landscaping here.
Okay.
So landscaping just along the buffer zone of the parking lot.
Eastern edge.
Yeah, the eastern edge. Just needs to be high enough so you would, and obviously not deciduous, would need to be evergreen. To interrupt any headlights going into those bedrooms.
And then a board-on-board fence on the northern side of the lot.
Correct.
Sure, no
Right.
problem.
Now we've cleared it up.
Yep, okay, we're good.
That's great.
Okay, you
And
good
then
with
does
that,
that
Brittany?
eliminate the need for the variance in 2? Mr. Riccardi, are you still with us? Did
Maybe
we
not.
lose him?
I think we may have lost him. You seeing him on there, Maurice?
Nope, he's gone.
Oh.
Okay.
Madam Chair, they may still need it on the south side. We're only requesting the north side.
Oh,
It would need to.
Oh, on the south, we have single family to the south as well, don't we? Okay,
Yeah, looks like it.
so we'll need to do board on the south as well.
This is for the whole length of the property line or just where the parking is?
I think it goes from the back of that. Doesn't it go from the back, this part of the property line all the way back?
Yeah. So you need to be set back off the front 15 feet
Oh, yeah, that's that.
and then
that's
go
an
to the
issue.
rear.
Okay.
We want to set back.
Because that is not property you're going to be acquiring down the road, correct?
Which
The
property?
lot to the
Any
south?
property to the south?
No, there's.
There's an
the whole
alley.
area.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so he doesn't go all the way to the front property line, because then at that,
What's the dimension here? So essentially, if you look at your plan view, you've got a 15.5 setback.
Yes.
So that is your 15
Starting.
foot. Yeah, so you can start there and then go to the rear.
And we had, may I ask a question?
Mhm.
All right, so we had talked about on the, say, the south side of the lot, there being enough green space to get that variance. Are we saying we want to fence the whole thing in on northern and southern?
Madam Chair, the code only requires where the parking spaces are. It's not the entire lot, it's just they need to screen it, the space adjacent to the parking. So it wouldn't have to be the entire.
Right. I have concerns though, since we're gonna have kids on the property. I just feel like it would be safer and a better neighbor to fence the north and the south perimeter.
I mean, they don't have to, so, where we can ask them to do what the code requires.
Brittany, your thoughts on that? I don't know, I'm not that familiar with the nature of this neighborhood, with what's adjacent. But my feeling is, since we're gonna have kids in this area, and to be a better neighbor, it would be beneficial to have fencing on those two borders of the lot. Pardon? It would start at the back and then run to the 15-foot setback at the front.
So the nature of this, you can see it here, it's usually just single family, no one has fencing.
Yeah, there's no, look, if you take a
So
look.
that's where you could potentially be singling them out, you know?
Mhm.
In the nature of this property, refugees. It's not something I would highly recommend, just, you know, you don't wanna single out people who already feel.
Okay, all right. I'll accept that then.
Madam Chair, if you wanna look at they have, this is this property. Looks like they have at least some of a fence on this side.
Yeah.
This
which is illegal.
Right. This chain link fence, I'm assuming that it's in October of 2022, it looked like there was a chain link fence on Google. Is that gone?
I think it's still there on the south.
It's there.
Okay, so that'll come down.
We'll remove it.
Right.
Yeah, because it's not legal.
I think the previous owner, whatever happened to that house, had it, and it's just remained on that lot.
Yeah, and then if you look at the other house, they have a little fence in the back too, but there are no fences in the front really.
I can say that during design
Yeah.
review, fencing was discussed, and
Yeah.
the overwhelming opinion of the design review is to not have fencing, because it would feel like it was setting apart the residents of these units, and they wanted the ability to be open.
Which echoes what Brittany just said.
Yes, and
Okay.
that is what the
Right.
Near West Design Review recommended.
Okay.
But
And-
we're happy to comply with whatever is needed. That
No,
was
no,
the
I think I'm open to that input, given the fact that, this is, I think you're targeting the refugee community. And I think we need to be sensitive to that. So, if that's the feeling that it might feel different, then, as long as you feel comfortable with the safety of the kids in the backyard. Okay. All right. Then we just need the landscaping strip along the parking lot then.
Okay, along the eastern edge.
Mhm.
Yep, to show for the bedrooms.
Correct,
Okay.
right.
So we'll remove the board-on-board fence on both sides.
Yeah,
We will
that's
have the dense evergreen shrubbery in front of the parking on the eastern edge.
Right.
Excellent. Happy to take care of
Just
that.
so we don't have headlights in the bedroom.
It's a great recommendation.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? All right, I'll entertain a motion then.
All right, Madam Chair, I move that we approve calendar number 23-193 based on the testimony that we've heard today from appellants, from city planning. And note that the appellants are going to place a 4-foot wide landscaping strip on the east portion of the parking lot to screen the back of the homes from the parking lot. And I move that we approve all other variances as stated in the agenda.
Okay, great. Could I have a second?
Madam Chair, I would second the motion.
Ms. Wilson seconds. Ms. Kukla, you want to call the vote?
Sure, are we requesting a new site plan? Or is, we could just make it, a note on the.
I think that's adequate for this. Yeah.
Thank you. Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Bailey.
Yes.
Calendar number 23-193 is granted conditionally. We'll ratify this next week and we will send the appellant a letter. Please feel free to contact us on Wednesday next week for further instructions.
Okay, standing.
Great, good luck with the project.
Great, thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. And we want to thank Secretary Kukla. I know we've emailed many times. Thank you. And anyone else on the call that has helped us along the way. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
This will be a good project for you, Brittany, since you started with the CDC and
Yeah.
now you'll see. Yeah,
It's great
yeah.
to be a part of the beginning and it's just goes over.
Exactly, right. Great continuity. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes our cases for today. We'll go on to old business. Ma'am?
We have 23-15 withdrawn, or was that post?
151 was withdrawn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ma'am? You look familiar. Have you been here before with us for something?
About a residential,
Yeah, care facility. Yeah.
On East 93rd. That was withdrawn.
it was withdrawn today.
Oh, it was withdrawn.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
one on East 93rd?
You may have,
Withdrawn.
yeah, you may
Yeah, I don't
have
think
come.
I think you came in later after it was withdrawn.
So what is that?
They've taken back their application. They're not going, they told us that they're gonna be selling the property and they're not gonna put in a group home.
I'm sorry, we should have.
I'm so sorry.
Well, thanks for spending the morning with us. Yeah, it's always interesting. Okay, we'll move on to old business then, now that we have that mystery solved.
What about the other woman in the back? Is she also?
She's
just document.
She's with the
Yeah,
documenters.
she's the documenter. I think you've been with us before, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes, I thought so. All right, so old business, we have number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 without objection, board?
Without objection.
Okay, excellent. And nothing else, Liz? Okay, so ladies, who's going to be, we're meeting next Monday.
Yes.
And which is the 27th. We have the agendas in our notebooks and probably has also been sent out electronically. So everybody can check Dropbox. So who's going to be present on the 27th?
So I will be present, but I do have a recusal on 23-189, which is the same.
The one that we heard today.
Okay, all right.
I will
So,
hopefully be present if I am able to make it back from Tennessee in time.
oh, we have another trip to Tennessee.
Yes.
All right. All right,
And I
are
will
you,
be at the Ohio Housing Conference, so I'll be in Columbus, but we'll call in virtually.
okay, so you are able to attend, you'll just be online.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, and
And then
Ms.
Ms.
Roca,
Brown.
are you able to be online if you're away?
Yes, so I should be back. I'm planning on driving home on Sunday. but,
Okay,
If not, then I can call in from the car.
all right, okay. And Ms. Wilson, you're with us except for the one recruising,
Correct.
in person?
Most likely.
Okay,
Sometime mornings, get it.
awesome.
Get it.
And Ms. Brown, I don't think had a conflict, so we're good. All right, so you can plan accordingly.
All right.
All right, thanks everyone. Have a good Turkey Day.
Oh, I need